Thanks for checking out this video. You could be listening to any idiot on the internet with a mic in front of them, but you chose to listen to us, and we appreciate that.
We're sending you a virtual hug. If you have any trade questions or start-sit questions, leave a comment. Justin or myself will definitely respond, or maybe even both of us will respond.
If you like the video, drop us a like, comment, sub. You know the drill.
Welcome to A Tribe Called Fantasy with your hosts, Greg and Justin.
Check the description for players that just didn't make the list this week, and leave us a comment if we forgot anyone on the list.
Coming in hot at number 36, we got Mr. Chris Glassbones Thompson, as Greg likes to call him. Week 5 coming off a 3-catch, 35-yard game. They're going up against the Lions. This is a real desperation play, but Chris Thompson's role's been increasing in this offense. You can look for him for some PPR work, but if you're having to start him, I pray for your soul.
At 35, we have Cam Akers, who is coming back off of some injuries, and this Rams backfield it's a huge question mark who's going to get the work each week. Cam Akers definitely has some upside. Just for that reason alone, he makes the list, but you're probably going to be stashing him more than wanting to play him.
Yeah, 9 carries, 61 yards. That's definitely a good week. 49ers banged up. But coming up next at number 34, we have DeAndre Swift, who, as our notes say, is not clutch. But his reception game has been looking good. They're playing the Jags, pretty poor defense. AP's definitely taken the lead back role, but his PPR production is, wouldn't say been consistent, but it's there. It's viable. If you have to start him, I think you can expect a few points.
At 33, we have D'Ernest Johnson. Last week had 8 carries, 32 yards, and a reception. You were definitely hoping to see him more involved, but Kareem Hunt just kind of ran away with the lead back role. He has a tough matchup against the Steelers, but you're definitely keeping him for the opportunities that he will hopefully get. Hopefully he'll get a split role with Kareem Hunt, but we'll see on that one.
2 back-to-back tough matchups. That is not looking good. But up next, at number 32, we have Jamal Williams going up against the Bucs this week. Packers hot off the bye week. They're looking great. They need receivers, though, with Allen Lazard down. Devontae Adams is coming back. Can't really trust Marquez?
I think it's Marquez.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He's a big boomer bust. Man will drop some shit. But last week, or week 4, Jamal Williams, 8 carries, 10 yards, 8 catches, 95 yards. And if you know anything about Jamal Williams, you know that Aaron Rodgers fucking loves this guy for, I guess, the right reasons. On Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays on the Pat McAfee show, this dude is sucking his dick weekly, it feels like. Apparently he was sending him some clips of him running routes, looking more explosive this year in the offseason. So Jamal Williams, definitely somebody that you're not going to be weekly starting until Aaron Jones gets hurt, or if, but could be a solid flex play.
Or a stash. And Jamal Williams had a handful of very productive fantasy games last year too.
I think he's a good player. He's definitely in that Alexander Mattison, Latavius Murray spot where you have to keep him on your bench. There's no way you drop him.
At 31, we have Phillip Lindsay, who we have yet to see play a full game, right? Did we see him play a full game against the Jets? Did he play against the Jets?
Did not play against the Jets. Okay. Maybe week 1, but I'm not positive.
Phillip Lindsay will be hopefully making his return after his bye week against the Patriots. We don't really know what his role looks like with Melvin Gordon yet. He's very talented, so he should get some work, but he's not going to get the volume I think that he's gotten in the past. But he definitely has a lot of potential, a lot of talent. So hopefully the opportunities will still present themselves for Phillip Lindsay.
Yeah, I think with the terrible quarterback play, Brett Rippon's all right, but
who even is Rippon the quarterback there? Who the fuck is it?
Yeah, it's Brett Rippon.
Okay.
Maybe Drew Lock comes back. I don't know. Probably should have done some research on that, but definitely think they'll look to run the ball more just to get it out of Brett Rippon's hands, even Drew Lock's hands if he does come back. I don't know the severity of his injury, but
I know it was multiple weeks. I highly doubt we see Drew Lock.
Yeah. So if both of those running backs are going to get some work. Phillip Lindsay's too talented not to get some love. But, yeah, it's all a question mark with him. But next up at number 30, we have J.D. McKissic. Coming off a 6-catch, 46-yard game. They're taking on the Giants this week. And as Greg thought, Antonio Gibson was the starter, but did not get the passing down work like he had hoped for.
Nope.
Because it all went to J.D. McKissic. As soon as Alex Smith got in there, he was looking for checkdowns. Thank God he didn't get hurt again.
I was holding my breath when who let him play football again?
Ron Rivera.
You're
man.
Married. Did your wife approve of this?
Dude,
Jesus, man.
After like 50 surgeries, you gotta think he probably only had one reason to get through that shit, and it was to play football again.
They must really hate Dwayne Haskins. If they're like, you know what, fuck it, we'll risk Alex Smith's leg instead of playing you.
So I saw this tweet that said they benched Dwayne Haskins because it was a 4th down opportunity, and they told him before the play, throw it in the end zone. It was like 4th and 10, but it was on the 15 or something. They said you at least have to throw it to the end zone, and he checked it down to the maybe the 10-yard line, completed the pass, but no first down, obviously. And they said that was like his test, and that he failed, and that he's terrible at preparing. Wow. And his lack of preparation is 100% the reason he's not playing. But
Jamarcus Russell 2.0 with Dwayne Haskins.
I could honestly see it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not a fit boy by any means.
Do you have anything else on J.D. McKissic before we move on?
Man, I can't even believe we talked about Washington for that long. I'm actually disgusted.
At 29, we have Chase Edmunds. He looks like the best running back on the Cardinals. So I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we see Kenyan Drake's touches get eaten into by Chase Edmunds. Whenever he touched the ball, he is very productive. And he is involved in the passing game, had 5 receptions for 56 yards. The Cardinals are taking on the Cowboys, so I think you'll see Chase Edmunds get some passing work this game.
Yeah, that's absolutely mind-blowing that every time he touches the ball, it does better than Kenyan Drake, who's getting fed.
I know.
I just can't even believe it.
Hurts my soul.
At 28, though, we have Mark Ingram, one of the biggest disappointments of the year. They're taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, which James Conner just kind of tore up, but still a pretty solid defense. Didn't think I'd say that in the first couple of weeks. But you just can't trust Mark Ingram. You're probably so disappointed in yourself for drafting Mark Ingram. And fool's gold, I would have done it too if I had the opportunity. But thankfully I didn't. You're hoping for a touchdown. He's not getting any steady production. 11 carries for 57 yards is good, but that was his season high on carries. So, man, that's just tough.
At 27, we have Adrian Peterson. Not the Cowboys, sorry. The Lions are taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Adrian Peterson's definitely the lead back there. Seeing an inconsistent work. Well, actually, those first 2 weeks he wasn't even with them. But he's getting double digit.
He signed the week before.
Okay.
So getting worked into it.
They're definitely going to be more of a committee, but Adrian Peterson is definitely the lead back. With Kenny G back, hopefully they'll kind of spread the offense a bit, and he'll have some holes to run through. And Adrian Peterson's going to put in the work. He's definitely not a glamour pick, but a decent play against the Jags.
At number 26, we have James White. He had 3 carries for 21 yards against the Chiefs in week 4, but also added 7 catches for 38 yards. So that's definitely what you're wanting. They're playing the Broncos this week. I do believe Cam Newton will be back, but James White, he's the passing back, and he's going to see some work every single week. I wouldn't expect crazy astronomical numbers unless he decides to pull a Rex Burkhead and get 3 touchdowns, but steady floor. I think you can expect 8 to 10 points. If you're looking for a safe play, maybe you have a couple other boomer busts in your lineup. I think you can throw James White in the flex and feel pretty good about it.
At 25, we have Darrell Henderson Jr., who was this week's lead back. 15 carries for 38 yards and a touchdown. 3 receptions for 30 yards and a touchdown. Rams are taking on the 49ers. It seems as though Darrell Henderson is the lead back. We don't really know. He's getting the work. He definitely is at least the player on the Rams backfield that I would want. But Cam Akers being back, who knows what the work division looks like between the running backs in this committee.
Man, we 100% said the same thing about Malcolm Brown
No doubt.
last week.
Yep.
I'm sure Malcolm Brown, who's not even on the list, is going to pop off this week, but you live with it. Darrell Henderson does look good, though. He's just a solid player. All right, up next at 24, we have Devin Singletary. That game is currently still going on. They are playing the Chiefs in week 6. I do believe we have our stat guys pulling it up right now.
Oh, yeah, we're crunching some numbers.
Yeah. He's not looking great, though.
Having a rough day at the office.
The Titans' defense is pretty stout, but the Chiefs' defense, not so much. They just gave up a huge game against the Las Vegas Raiders. Almost slipped up there. And now I'm going to let my stat guy take over.
As of now, I don't even know if the game's over. Has 11 carries for 25 yards and 1 reception for 8 yards. So, I mean, Devin Singletary, he's one of those players that you feel unsure about playing week in and week out anyways, and this just kind of gives you more reason to feel that way. But Josh Jacobs did really well against the Kansas City Chiefs. Devin Singletary is no Josh Jacobs, though. So, I mean, if you have him, you probably don't have many better options than Devin Singletary.
Yeah, there's 2 minutes left in that game right now, but they've been getting their ass beat the whole game. So
yeah, they've been playing from behind as well.
They had to throw into it. So it doesn't make me feel good that TJ Yeldon's out here getting some passing down work. 6 carries, he caught a touchdown. But hopefully next week against the Chiefs, he can bounce back.
You might have Zach Moss in there too.
Yeah, definitely slam the I'm alarmed button for Devin Singletary.
But him being this high up on the list just kind of shows that, these opportunities are what you're kind of looking for. He's on a really good offense. He's getting double-digit touches. And some of these other players on the list just aren't getting that type of work.
Exactly. I think especially when you're looking at this lower rankings, the one thing you're looking for is the team good, first of all, and what's their opportunity looking like? And he checks both of those boxes. So while he's underperforming, you can say you did all the right math, you checked the right boxes, and you gave yourself a shot.
Taking another shot, at 23, we have Antonio Gibson. He's still the feature back. I think that's you can feel okay about that. Even though J.D. McKissic got more involved with Alex Smith, I don't know that that's going to keep happening. Antonio Gibson looked really good out there on the field before Alex Smith came in. So I don't know if this is an Alex Smith thing. As of now, I'm going to keep going with Antonio Gibson as the lead back in that offense. He has the talent, and he has a really nice matchup against the Giants.
Yeah, that you are an Antonio Gibson truther, and I will close it at that. Up next, excuse me, at 22, we have Damien Harris. Coming off a pretty nice week 4, just got off IR for that week, 17 carries, 100 yards even. No work in the passing game. That's not what he's there for, but the guy can run the ball. They're playing the Broncos, who have a pretty solid defense. I think statistically it says they're a little better than they are. I think they've been playing some cupcake matchups. Teams have just been blowing them out, so then they're not really looking to push the ball. But I think you can see a pretty solid week from Damien Harris, and you're just excited to finally have him back.
At 21, we have Myles Gaskin. 16 carries for 57 yards and a touchdown and 5 receptions for 34 yards in week 5. He has a really good matchup against the Jets. I think Myles Gaskin's going to be a great play this week. He's involved in the passing game. The Dolphins are just putting points on people too, so I like Myles Gaskin against the Jets.
Absolutely. I think he'll feast. And what a surprise. Coming up next at number 20, we have Devonta Freeman. 17 carries, 60 yards and a touchdown, 2 catches and 27 yards. They are playing the Washington No-Names this week. Definitely impressed with Devonta Freeman this week. Finally looking like he's in the know. He knows the system a little better. Saw a quote from the head coach Joe Judge talking about how they just wanted to get him more involved, make him learn the language. He's definitely in their grind, and they were saying, and he should have had another catch. He had another good screen, but got called back for holding or something like that. So I think Devonta Freeman is only going to move up this board as the weeks continue, and he's going to be one of the waiver wire pickups that wins people some games.
At 19, we have Melvin Gordon. Had a bye week in week 5, so hopefully his crotch is feeling a little bit better after having a week to ice it up. He's taking on the Patriots, which is a tough matchup. They just know how to script out key players, and Melvin Gordon's definitely going to be a key player. So I think they're going to try and limit his touches and effectiveness with the ball. But he had 23 carries. He's been getting a lot of carries. We'll see what happens with Philip Lindsay back. But Melvin Gordon is just too talented of a running back to not start, I would say.
Unless he has no testicles.
Yeah.
That'll hold back any man. Coming up next, though, talking about holding back, this man's knees are old and dusty. He busted off some huge runs, yet still managed to look slow. We're talking about Todd Gurley, not the first, but the second. Pretty amazing week, honestly. 14 carries, 121 yards, and 2 touchdowns, I believe. Yes, can you confirm this?
Let me confirm.
Our notes say RD. Oh, and 2 touchdowns. Yes. I don't even know where I was looking.
No, just 1 touchdown.
Oh, okay.
I misspelled touchdown with an R.
All right, and an RD. Pretty good RD this week. It's a good run. They're taking on the Vikings, and David Johnson just had actually, David Johnson did not do that well against the Vikings, and Chris Carson did not do that well against the Vikings. I'm looking for Todd Gurley to come back a little bit to reality, but you're impressed with him finally. He does look a little bit better. I am a known Todd Gurley hater, which is unfortunate that I even have to read him off. I'm just going to toss the rock to you a little bit, let you suck him off a little bit.
I don't have much sucking to do, to be honest. He's been touchdown dependent, and he's been getting the touchdowns. So if you've played Todd Gurley, you've been okay. But, if you have Todd Gurley on your team, you should be a little bit skeptical of it. They're involving other running backs. Todd Gurley doesn't look like you're saying, he just doesn't have the speed. He doesn't have that explosiveness. But I mean, he's getting important opportunities, and he's getting touchdowns. Like, I mean, he is working for these touchdowns. So it's not like he's like stumbling into the end zone. Like, he busted like a 30-something yard touchdown. So I mean, there's positive and negative. But at the end of the day, if you have Todd Gurley, you're going to be playing him.
Still has arthritis.
In
his knees.
At 17, we have Jonathon Taylor taking on the Bengals. Week 5 had 12 carries for 57 yards and a touchdown. 2 receptions for 17 yards. You're not really playing him for his passing work. You want the volume from him. He didn't really get the volume last week. This Colts team offensively, just Phillip Rivers was a bad decision.
Yeah, let's call a spade a spade. This guy's terrible.
Yeah, Phillip Rivers is washed, man. Phillip Rivers has never been good. I'm going to say it right now. Not a Phillip Rivers fan.
Pretty hot take, but he is
super overrated.
He's garbage this year.
Yeah. He just can't get the ball down the field. So, Jonathon Taylor should get the work against the Bengals team that they're probably going to give them the business.
Yeah, the only reason I even came up with a similar ranking, me and Greg kind of work our way through the rankings together. I'm really down on Jonathon Taylor after his huge week 2, but the Bengals matchup is juicy. Hopefully Phillip Rivers can get his fucking life together, but probably not. If Jacoby Brissett comes in, ding, 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 you're back in action. But other than that, I don't feel great about it. At number 16, we have Joe Mixon taking on the Colts, which is actually a very tough matchup. Kareem Hunt did not have the week you would expect, but Joe Mixon, other than his one amazing week 4, still gets all the carries, but has just been anything but productive. I expect to see another similar game, probably a couple catches, probably another 20-carry game for 45 yards. It's tough to be a Joe Mixon owner, honestly.
At 15, we have Ronald Jones. I hate that I ended up with Ronald Jones.
We can trade, man.
Yeah, we should have traded. I don't know. I'm not a huge Ronald Jones supporter personally. I think that it's fool's gold, but he's getting the work. So, I mean, you just can't deny these numbers. Week 4 had 20 carries, 111 yards, 6 receptions, 17 yards. Week 5 had 17 carries for 106 yards with 3 receptions for 19 yards. They're taking on the Packers, so hopefully that'll be a tight game. Ronald Jones will hopefully continue to get the work and maybe get involved in the passing game, playing catch up on the prolific Packers offense.
Yeah, just to play devil's advocate, I do like Ronald Jones. I think he is actually a good player. I think he's really been impressive when Leonard Fournette's not playing. Leonard Fournette is coming back this week, but I'm just not thinking Leonard Fournette's the guy we all think he is. I think Ronald Jones is securing his spot as the lead running back. If he can keep himself steady in this passing game, Keyshawn Vaughn just got absolutely murdered against the Bears by one of the Fuller brothers. I don't remember who, but yeah, he got blasted. So he probably still has a concussion. I wouldn't look for him to be too viable in the passing game. But yeah, Ronald Jones, definitely a trustworthy guy in my personal opinion. Coming in at number 14, we have Raheem Mostert coming off a return from injury. Week 5, 11 carries for 90 yards, 3 catches for 29 yards, and they are taking on the Rams. Definitely a tough matchup, but Raheem Mostert is the guy. It's pretty hard to say when you're talking about 49ers running backs. There's usually a huge committee, but Jerick McKinnon all but phased out of last week, although the offense was so bad.
So bad. It really was.
But they paid Raheem Mostert to be the number one, and Raheem's performing like it. Hopefully he can just stay healthy. Hopefully he can get some more carries, and hopefully Jimmy G doesn't suck again.
At 13, we have Miles Sanders coming off of a pretty good performance against the Steelers. I think it took a lot of people by surprise. 11 carries for 80 yards and 2 touchdowns, 2 receptions for 19 yards. They are taking on the Ravens, so it's another really hard matchup. Definitely a bit skeptical of Miles Sanders. He had a huge run against the Steelers. It's just kind of a busted play where he just took one to the house. I think it was like 70-plus yards. It was just a monster run. I wouldn't count on that happening again against the Ravens. But, I mean, he's a very talented running back. He's the clear number 1 running back, so you could do a lot worse. Definitely starting him with clenched teeth against the Ravens, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It might help that Alshon's back. Maybe they can just get that offense rolling, but who really knows?
I don't know if we know that Alshon is back for sure, though.
That's true.
But if Alshon comes back, hopefully he does for football's sake.
Yeah, he missed. So he had a Liz Frank injury, which is a foot injury. So he missed the little bit last season towards the end, and then he missed the first few weeks with that. Got activated back on the practice squad, and he now missed this week due to illness, not because of injury. Okay. So it's looking pretty good, unless the boys got COVID and they're just trying to finesse, but I think they would have reported that. Coming in at number 12, I am so glad I got to read this one. David Johnson, 17 carries, 96 yards, 2 catches for 7 yards. His best game of the season by far. He's going up against the Titans, so definitely not a favorable matchup. The Texans just can't win, but he's looking a lot better. The offense was looking better without Bill O'Brien's dumbass being there. He could have had an even better game if Deshaun Watson wasn't getting fucking clobbered when he threw the ball to him in the end zone. But overall, I have confidence in David Johnson, but I'm not banking for him to save my league or save my week, which is sad because he is on my team and I need him to save my league and my week.
At 11, we have David Montgomery taking on the Carolina Panthers. So if there's ever a week to feel confident about playing David Montgomery, it is this week. The Carolina Panthers are just giving it up to opposing running backs. Last week only had 10 carries for 29 yards and a touchdown, but did have 7 receptions for 30 yards. So that is very promising. And he's clearly the main running back there. There just isn't many other people there. They're putting in Cordero Patterson as running back. So David Montgomery's the clear number 1. Feel really good about him taking on the Panthers.
At number 10, we have Mr. James Robinson coming off his second lowest carries of the season with 13, 48 yards, 5 catches for 22. Not his best week by any means, but the consistent work that he's producing and just the fact that he's the guy there in Jacksonville. One of the surprise rookies of the year. They're taking on the Lions, so a semi-tough matchup, but nothing that's going to just break the bank for you. You're going to start James Robinson every week, though, so let's be real.
At number 9, we have Kenyan Drake, who might be a bit too high on the list. I don't really know.
This was all you, man.
I mean, but it's like he's getting the carries. So it's like if he can finally capitalize on these opportunities where he's getting the ball, he's going to be a top 10 running back. But he just isn't putting out that production yet. But they're continuing to feed him. There is definitely a bit of concern with Chase Edmunds. I do have Kenyan Drake in one of my leagues, so I do have concerns with him there. But he's getting the work against the Cowboys. He should have. They're kind of weak against the run, so maybe he'll find the end zone. Maybe he'll finally show up. We'll see. But I mean, Kenyan Drake's the work is just there week after week, so you kind of just have to plan for that. There's no other running back on this list who's going to have that many opportunities. Very few running backs on this list who have as many opportunities as Kenyan Drake has.
I agree with the opportunities, but I'm just not buying it.
Fair, honestly, super fair.
At number 8, we have Alexander Mattison. They're taking on the Atlanta Falcons, coming off a 20-carry, 112-yard game with 3 catches and 24 yards. As of now, which is Tuesday night, Dalvin Cook is looking doubtful to play this week. If he does not play, this guy is a must start. You probably drafted him as the handcuff, or you took him late in the league, late in the draft, because you thought this might happen. And now that it has, it's your time to shine. Absolutely start him. If you have any of these other running back twos and you're trying to sit there and think, oh, maybe I start Joe Mixon over Alexander Mattison, maybe I start Todd Gurley. No, you start Alexander Mattison. There's a few backups in the league that are going to come out with this kind of production when their starter gets hurt. And other than, I would say, Kareem Hunt, Mike Davis, Latavius Murray, people like that, this guy's right alongside him, and he's going to have a huge week.
At 7, we have Clyde Edwards-Helaire. The Chiefs are taking on the Buffalo Bills, which should be a really fun, high-scoring game. So I think you'll see Clyde get involved in the passing game. I think it's going to be a bit of a shootout. His carries, he only had 10 carries last week for 40 yards, 3 receptions for 40 yards. But his opportunities on this offense just kind of make him a must-start week in and week out.
Coming in next at number 6, we have James Conner. They're taking on the Cleveland Browns. 15 carries, 44 yards, and a touchdown. Not what you wanted to see, but he did bust off a pretty nice run. Still involved in the passing game. Cleveland Browns, they're definitely going to want to run the ball too, so I think we'll have a little runoff here.
At 5, on the other end of the runoff, is Kareem Hunt. Last week had 20 carries for 72 yards, 3 receptions for 21 yards, and a touchdown. He definitely filled in quite nicely for Nick Chubb. You're feeling really good if you have Kareem Hunt. It's a tough matchup against the Steelers, but you know that Browns running back is just going to get fed down after down.
Absolutely. Coming up next at number 4, Mike Davis. This guy is an absolute beast. Coming off a double-digit carry game once again, looking at pretty solid rushing yards. But the real story here, 9 catches for 60 yards on 10 targets. He also had a rushing touchdown. This guy is crazy. I honestly didn't expect him to perform this well. CMC, he's eligible to play this week, but it's not looking like he will. So if CMC somehow does pull off the miraculous start, he's clearly not going to be at rank 4. But I think Mike Davis has earned himself a role in this offense. I think they're going to want to try and limit Christian McCaffrey as they ease him back into the system. And even when he's finally back, I think he'll just have at least a solid 10 touches a game, maybe, I would say. Just rough estimate.
At number 3, we have Aaron Jones making his return after a bye week. They're taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So it's a bit of a hard matchup, but Aaron Jones is just a talented running back. He's going to get the work every week. He's going to get involved in the passing game. Yeah, Aaron Jones is a monster.
Absolutely. And coming in at number 2, we have Derrick Henry. They are taking on the Houston Texans. He just had an amazing game against the Buffalo Bills.
Put Josh Norman on his ass.
Oh, my God. Yeeted him off of him. 19 carries, 57 yards, 2 touchdowns. So definitely always going to get the work. Probably the only running back in the league that I've ever seen not get tackled. He'll lose 3 yards, stand straight up, and walk it off. So you're pretty happy about him.
At number 1, we have Ezekiel Elliott. Rest in peace, Dak Prescott's season. That was one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen on a football field. But Ezekiel Elliott's going to have to step up. even more so than he already was. I think we're going to see him easily get 20 plus touches, heavily involved in the passing game. He's just a safe play week in and week out at this point. Thanks for checking out this video. If you have any issue with where we put any of these players or who we put on this list, go ahead and let us know in the comments. We can handle the heat, and we will not get out of the kitchen.
Bully us if you'd like. We're ready.
We can handle it. We're tough boys, but we are so desperate for approval. Hence the YouTube channel.
Yeah.